Hey Brand Bombers, it's Miss Morel, and today we're going to talk about the properties of matter. So here we can see some different objectives. So we want to be able to most importantly learn about physical and chemical properties. And also we want to learn about the physical states of matter. Here we'll see some vocabulary that we will want to make sure that we know and understand of this section. And then just know that common substances exist as solids, liquids, and gases, and that they have different physical and chemical properties. So matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. Matter is everything around us. Matter with a uniform and unchanging composition we call a substance. So we should know that there are some main states of matter. And so the states of matter are solid, liquid, and gas. And so those are the main ones that we'll be talking about. Solids, it's very important to know that they have their own definite shape and a definite volume. So if we look at a pencil or a marker, we know that this has a definite shape and a definite volume. It doesn't get bigger, it doesn't get smaller, and it's not easy to break. Liquids, on the other hand, they take the shape of their container, but their volume is unchanging. So whether I have it in one container or another container, their volume doesn't change. A gas, on the other hand, it likes to get as big as possible and it takes the shape of whatever you put it in. So, for example, oxygen in a balloon. It's in that shape, but if you pop the balloon, it expands to fill the room and it takes whatever shape of that. And then we'll just touch on vapor. So vapor refers to a gaseous state of a substance that is solid or liquid at a room temperature. Here, if you follow along in the slideshow, there is a video that you have the option to watch. And then a physical property is a characteristic that can be observed or measured without changing the sample's composition. So some examples of those include color, state of at room temperature, the melting point and boiling point, and the density. So for example, if you're following along in the slideshow, you can look at salt, which is called sodium chloride. We know that it's white. We know that it's a solid at room temperature, and we know we'd have to heat it up a whole lot in order to melt it. So some physical properties of matter. You might want to write these down. So these include solubility, viscosity. So viscosity is, I think about honey versus water. Honey, it doesn't flow very well. Ductility, that's the ability to be able to pound it into wires. Frequency, boiling point. Malleability, remember that we think about like copper and pennies and being able to pound it into shapes. And color. So intensive properties such as density are not dependent on how much there is. So it doesn't matter if you have a lot or a little. These things, they don't change. Extensive, they are dependent on how much there is. So things like how much something weighs, the more you have, of course, the more it's going to weigh. Its length and volume, the more you have, the more they're going to increase. So the properties of matter, the ability of a substance to combine or change into one or more substances is called a chemical property. So this is like iron forming rust, copper turning green in the air. And so here are some different chemical property examples: flammability, rusting, corrosion, burning, and reactivity. So a substance can change, and that's an important concept for us to understand in chemistry. And there are both physical and chemical properties that we see happening. And we have another video that you can watch. And then we have some questions. So density is what kind of property? So think through that, see if you can figure that out. And the correct answer is intensive, meaning that it doesn't matter how much you have. And then the last question is, what defines a gas? And the correct answer is that gases have no definite volume or shape. Remember, think of that balloon. All right, guys, that's all I have for your first day. I hope you're doing well and take good care. I hope this video is helpful to you guys. Bye.